Today we discuss the polygenic inheritance. It is also known as quantitative inheritance or multifactorial inheritance or polygenes, multiple genes, polygenetic trait, complex trait or metric needs. Now, what is polygenetic inheritance? That means when more than one gene, more than one gene determine the expression of a particular trait, it is known as what? Polygenic or quantitative or all this kind of inheritance. When more than one gene determine the expression of what? A particular trait. Now, we see in Mendel, the Mendel genetics is known as qualitative inheritance. What? Qualitative, but polygyny is known as quantitative. Why Mendel is qualitative? Because in Mendel genetics we can see there is only two extreme variation. For example, if we consider height, there should be a two character, one is tall and another is a dwarf. But in quantitative inheritance or polygenic inheritance, there should not be a two characters, there should be a continuous variation occur. For example, if there is a height, there should be a 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.44, 5.5 up to suppose 7. There should be a continuous variation, not only 5 or 7. That's why it is so what? Continuous variation. And it can be defined when a more than one gene determine expression of what? A particular trait. And in quantitative inheritance, there is a two concept. One is your contributing and another is your non-contributing allele. Now, what is contributing allele? See here, there is a 4 allele, A1, A2, A3, A4, and each allele form a drop, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this drop, what kind? Synthesize a contribution of what? Your skin pigment. So, each allele is responsible for contributing a pigment. What kind of pigment? Skin pigment. That's why it is known as was contributing allele. Okay. In next here, you can see in the right, there is an allele, small a1, small a2, small a3 and small a4. In this case, each allele doesn't form any kind of drop. So, neither allele is synthesizing drop for what? Skin pigment. That's why it is known as what? Non-contributing allele. Now, we move to the some characters of quantitative inheritance or polygenic inheritance. The first one is each contributing allele has a small but relatively equal effect. The allele should be small but each one has an equal effect. The next one of the important thing is the effect of each allele is additive. That is, we should summarize all the effect of each allele, not consider only one, but we consider all of the allele is an additive one. Got that? Third point, there is a no dominance. That is, one allele is dominant and another is recessive, doesn't come here. There is a no occurrence of your dominance. Next, there is a no epistasis. We know what is epistasis. Epistasis is the one when one gene inhibits the expression of an other genes. But in case of quantitative inheritance, there is a no epistasis. Now, point number 5. In quantitative inheritance, in F2 generation, there is a formation of a graph is known as bell-shaped curve. So, in quantitative inheritance, in the F2 generation, there is a formation of a curve and the curve is what? Bell-shaped curved. So, for example, you can see here, I have three alleles here. Capital A, B, C, small a, small b, small c. So, we have three alleles. Okay, now we cross this one. It is considered as a dark red and this is considered as a white. When we cross this parents, we get F1 generation. In F1 generation, we get capital A, capital B, small c, capital C, small c. You can see the one is your dark red and another is your white. But if we follow Mendelian genetics, there should be what? Dark red. But we are following what? The quantitative inheritance where each allele has an additive effect. And there is a no assumption of what? There is a no appearance of what? Dominance. So, the in the F1 generation, the what allele should be your intermediate red. Now, we are crossing this F1, that is selfing of your F1, that is capital A, small b, capital B, small c, capital C, small c, selfing, capital A, capital B, small c, capital C, small c. When we selfing occur, we get 7 progeny. What kind of progeny? 7 progeny. And if we draw this graph is look like a bell-shaped graph. What kind of graph? Bell-shaped graph. And this progeny should be your dark red, moderate red, pure red, intermediate red, light red, very light red and white. So we get the 7 progeny. And this is all about your quantitative inheritance. Thank you for listening. Ciao, ciao.